Welcome back, everybody. It is Berserker Sam. Let us continue. We were just about to take on these bandits. It is Chapter 11, Taking Leave. Let me make sure my options are all still set. Good to go. Okay. That's on that. Fast, max, on, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah. I don't think I've gone over this, but if you put it onto detailed, you will essentially have to calculate things like you did in older games. Actually, no, it doesn't make sense to start with you. Start with you. Okay. There's a lot to analyze here. You have your hit, then you have your attack, but it also lists the enemy's defense. So how that works is you have to take the attack, subtract it by the defense, so that would be 7 damage. The attack speed difference is 1, so she's not going to double yet. But that's too much thinking. Let's not do that much thinking if we don't have to. But I do like it that you at least have that option to do it a little more old school, and that's an aspect that I wish current Fire Emblem games maintained. Radiant Dawn was like this as well, and I wish they kept that because, I don't know, I just thought it was a nice thing. Except in Radiant Dawn, how it was worded was detailed or simplified. On my first run, I was like, oh, detailed. That means more information. More information is good. Yeah. I overcomplicated things for myself there. But anyway. Versus here, it just does the math for you. You're not going to double. Yeah. Oh yeah, we have new units. Time to go over them. Alright, we have Rebecca. She is an archer. Honestly, her face looks a lot like the Wendy girl from Wendy's, just different colored hair. A YouTuber pointed this out. I think, let me see. I believe his name was Gnome Shark. He was playing Blazing Sword, and he pointed out that Rebecca looked a lot like the Wendy's girl, and I would have to agree with him. Yeah, it was Gnome Shark. Okay. Bases. Not too good on the strength. We have 4 strength. Nice on the speed. We have 6 speed. She is, compared to Will, she's very likely going to be more speedy, and I think a little more crit heavy than Will, versus Will has more attack power, more defense. She has movement 5. Now, she's an archer, which means she can only attack at range. So, keep that in mind. And with that defense stat, you don't want her taking any damage if you can help it. We'll be making some use out of her. This beginning, in a small way, is honestly kind of similar to Thracia 776 in that, okay, well, except that you had Imperial troops, but aside from that, you start with, the Lord, a couple of units. You have an archer. It's very similar in that respect, I feel. Okay, let's go with Lowen. Lowen. I like Lowen. There's not anything particularly remarkable about him. His design always reminds me a little bit of Stall from Awakening, another unit I liked. I'm not sure what it is about Lowen I like. There's nothing really, like Sane is gonna get fast, fairly tanky, good attack power. Kent is more skill-based, and Lowen is kind of more like an armor knight on a horseback, where he's going to end up with quite a bit of defense. Speed is not going to get as much of. And yes, I have a snack with me. So if you hear that, that's what that is. Movement 7, con 10, aid 15, yeah. He's going to be able to wield fairly heavy weapons and not be slowed down too much by it. But yeah, I like Lowen. He's a good unit. I think he's, well, maybe not the best cavalier. I think he deserves more credit and use than what most people might give him. He's a mounted unit, so that means he's gonna have 7 move. 7 move! Look at that. That means if this bandit wasn't in our way, it could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up here in one go. Versus, say, Rebecca. Well, first of all, she's a foot. She doesn't have any 1 to 2 range options or melee, so that's kind of bad when dealing with all these bandits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She could only go here. If you have a lot of movement, it is just very impactful for how much you'll affect the battlefield, how offensive you can be, how quickly you can forge ahead, and all that. And like, movement is just very good for both defense and offensive purposes. In the case of a flyer, like let's just say Lowen was a flyer, you could say weak to arrows. Yeah, I'm well aware of that. He could still move all the way like up here, just stay right outside of the archer's range and no problem. A lot of move allows you to be more offensive. You can be very selective with how much you go ahead if needed. Like, it just allows you more options when you have more movement. Additionally, he has Canto. Now, unfortunately, Canto doesn't work as good in this game as in the Tellius games, where he can only move again if it's something like trade or rescue. Which is unfortunate because there's a lot to be said for hit and run tactics, and honestly I think it's something all mounts and cavaliers should have if you think about it. Like, charge ahead, attack, move away for another unit. Okay, let's talk about the Jagan here, or more like an Oifi archetype, Marcus. The myth, the man, the legend. Marcus. Okay, Marcus, pre-promoted paladin. Again, paladins are good in this game, I would say. I think the only thing that maybe where they're possibly not as good is how Canto is a bit nerfed in GBA. But other than that, sword, lances, and axes, like, you can't get much better than that. And very nice bases all around. Marcus will help carry the team throughout the game. Like, he is good. He doesn't learn experience very good at first, but if you continue to use him, not only will you have very high weapon ranks in all 3, like, you can easily get axes up to A along with everything else. In addition to that, in contrast to another paladin, which you'll get later, Isadora, he's more bulky and defense-oriented, where he's going to have more HP, more defense, more strength. Isadora, on the other hand, is a lot more speedy. She has more speed. Her resistance is pretty good. And, oh yeah, resistance. It's not going to get super high, but with how lousy enemy stats are, it's going to be fine to be perfectly defensible against most mages in this game. He has a con of 11, move 8, very good unit. Another thing, with these weapon ranks, he can wield any type of javelin type as in a 1 to 2 range lance, as well as 1 to 2 range axe. You might need it a little higher for specifically the tomahawk, but that's not going to be gotten until much later in the game. So another thing that's so great about having as much as 3 weapons is if you're paying attention, you can be very selective. You can select what weapon you're going to use and make sure you're at least not going to be at a weapon disadvantage. The same can be said of, the same is true for if you have 2 weapons types, but it's even more true if you have 3. Hey, 3 weapons are better than 2 weapons. Alright, now we come to Eliwood. I like Eliwood. His bases, they're not particularly impressive. They're solid. Like, if you look at how everything is differentiating from each other, they're solid. But I think because he's more well-rounded, if you're not careful, and if you just get bad level ups, Eliwood can be a very poor unit. I've had playthroughs where he's been honestly pretty good, but I've also seen playthroughs where he's pretty bad. So, and a lot of that is just, you do need to use Eliwood. You need to be careful. Make sure you use him because he can fall off. I would consider him better than, like, if I was to rate all the units we have right now, it would be Marcus, Lowen, Eliwood, Rebecca. Just because he does have better bulk than Rebecca. Not by much, but a little bit. Yeah, he has just slightly more bulk than Rebecca. And, he comes with a rapier that's going to be effective against both. It's like Lince Manicotti. It's going to be effective against both Cavaliers and Armors. Something I sometimes forget about in some games. Okay, I think that's everybody. Let's begin. There's another reason why this beginning is a little similar to Ratio 776, and I'll explain why in a moment. There you go, Rebecca. That a girl. Alright, what can you do? Ah, darn it. Let me see. Oh, yeah, and he starts... Oh, yeah, he starts with a C in swords. That's honestly... I like that a lot. Yeah, let me see. Steel sword. Oh, that's D. Okay. Here. Why don't you trade that to Eliwood for the time being? And move right here. Oh. Eliwood, come on. Good grief. Fine. Alright, Lowen, attack him. Eliwood. I think, yeah, you're already starting to see the problem. That's what happens when you only have 5 strength at base. That said, the rapier, it's very accurate. Its might is not bad, but there are swords with much better might, and it has a reasonable crit. That's another good thing about it. Okay, this is the part that's kind of like Thracia, where after like the first turn or so, you get a couple more reinforcements. This reminds me of that. I like these two. Look, Dorcas, can you believe it? It's just like that knight said. That's Lord Eliwood. So it seems. What's he doing? Hey, he's taking on those bandits. Protecting innocents? That's a rightly lordly thing to do, isn't it? Right, Dorcas? You talk too much. The lordly needs our help. Right. Leave these mountain weaklets to me. I'm Bartre the Brave. Oh, Bartre, honestly. Uh, Bartre. I love his very, like, just go and get it done attitude. Very energetic. I love his energy, his enthusiasm, and everything. But in all honesty, Bartre is a bit of an idiot. He can be so dumb sometimes, but at the same time, it's lovable. Like, I don't know. There's something I do like Bartre. However, look at these bases. He can be really hard to work with. Like, you need to put some effort into him. It can be hard to work with him, especially with that skill and that defense. Okay, he has a good speed growth. The thing is, he has a very lousy speed base. That's another thing. Personally, I think, in general, you should have the base of your stat should correspond a little bit with your growth for that stat. Now, obviously, I also think you should have a little bit of maybe compensating certain stats for a low growth. But at the same time, if you're... I don't remember his growth right off the top of my head, but let's just say his speed growth is higher than his defense growth. I think it should be higher than just by 1 point, and I highly doubt he has a higher luck growth than his speed growth. I'm pretty sure speed is higher than luck. I could be wrong about that. That said, if you can get him to work for you, and that's what I like with Fire Emblem, is even the worst units are workable. It just depends on how much time, how much resource are you willing to put into a unit. He has a move of 5, con 13, so because of that high con, that's one thing good about fighters is, first of all, they can rescue a lot of people. And they can, because they're high con, they can use pretty heavy weapons with little to no effect on their speed. Okay. I apologize for the abruptness, folks. We are going to have to end it here. The button's cankered out. I will be right back. You all have a great day. I will continue this overview of our beginning units once I'm back on. You all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Please leave a comment if you feel so inclined. A like would also be greatly appreciated. And if you have not done so already, I would appreciate a subscription. All usual bells and whistles I'm sure you've heard before from other YouTubers. I will see you all next time. Have a fantastic day. Goodbye.